smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, it's 7:34 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Yes, on the Tobago Updates morning show today, we are celebrating International Youth Day. And I'm going to highlight another one here in studio with us. Yes, at times, the very bossy and very forceful to ensure he gets his work done. J.𝗢𝗢 𝗔𝗢𝗓, our youth producer of the Tobago Updates Youth Wednesday show. Trust me, folks, you should know him in the field of media. He's usually that one that might be hiding behind the technical area in terms of the camera and doing a number of things out there in the field of media and videography and so on. And we also want to highlight J.𝗢𝗢 𝗔𝗢𝗓 this morning, as well, our youth producer, as we recognize International Youth Day 2022. And I must certainly remember those of you continuing to join us on the live. Keep the names coming, folks. We are highlighting as well in the mix Kai Lewis, 13-year-old entrepreneur out of Kendall, Tobago, and she's the owner of 𝗧𝗢𝗕 Cosmetics. All right, so remember to check her out. We're also highlighting inspirational young persons, Bethany Skypes, Jolie St. John, former host of the Tobago Writers Guild First Mic series. And we have Happy International Youth Day greetings coming out. So remember, continue to drop in the live for us, an outstanding young person in Tobago, as we celebrate International Youth Day, and give us a little one-liner. What have they been up to, and why do you consider them to be outstanding? As we head on into our interview segment this morning, we are in conversation in this segment with Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and Dr. Nathaniel Duke, Medical Chief of Staff of the TRHA. And we have them in studio with us this morning. We're going to be speaking to the cataract backlog, and what are the efforts that will be made in terms of moving us in a direction where we can overcome those challenges. Morning to you, and welcome.
Hi, morning, Julian. It's wonderful being here.
Excellent. So you'd forgive me if I started the interview by asking, starting with you, Dr. Duke, tell us about one outstanding young person that you continue to be impressed with in terms of within the Tobago space here.
Well, I'm particularly impressed with all of the young physicians in Tobago who are the engines of the healthcare system. All right, so I would like to send out my kudos to them, and I would like when the public actually sees them, they acknowledge them for all of their hard work. When we are all asleep, they are up, getting the system moving as it should.
Excellent. All right, and on to you, Dr. Faith. Tell us about, well, I don't know how the area rep going to tell us about one outstanding young person, but an outstanding young person.
So that I do not get in trouble, I will tell about two outstanding young people from Bell Garden. So I go in not just area rep, but my village. 𝗧𝗢𝗕 Paul, who is the president or the chairperson of the Zion Youth Foundation. That is actually the organization that told me a couple months ago that we are having a breadfruit festival, and we had a breadfruit festival come hello high water. So I want to congratulate 𝗧𝗢𝗕 Paul and the entire Zion Youth Foundation. But I cannot be here and not talk about Cindy Andrews, who is of course, president of the Bell Garden Police Youth Club. So those two young people from Bell Garden, I mean, Glamorgan, Bell Garden, I know we have other villages, but to big up my Bell Garden young people, it is what it is.
Thank you so much indeed. Now, this morning we're chatting about what is the existing issue in terms of the cataract backlog here in the Tobago space. And we're going to get right on into it. What's the situation currently that we are treating with Dr. Faith?
Certainly. So since I've been in this position, I've had calls. It felt like people were actually just giving people my telephone number and telling them to call Faith and tell them you want to do your cataract surgery. You've been waiting to do this cataract surgery for 4, 5, 6, how many years, sitting, waiting now? Of course, COVID happened, which means all elective surgeries were stopped. So even if you were lined up to do it in maybe 2019, 2020, COVID happened and then that halted it. So what we decided to do is instead of waiting for the system to catch back up And because we know that cataract surgery is a relatively simple surgery that we can do, but the effects are astonishing. To have cataracts means that you really can't see properly out of your eye, if it's one eye or both eyes. And we could do something that is relatively cheap, that's relatively simple, that can alleviate this concern that so many Tobagonians have. We decided let's just do a special project to deal with the backlog. So what we've decided is that we've highlighted a group from, well, it's based in Trinidad, but we actually have physicians coming from like Canada and so forth to come in to help. We are starting next week, Monday, to start the registration. So if you know, for example, that you have been lined up, you are part of the eye clinic at the Scarborough General Hospital, you have been lined up waiting to do this surgery for umpteen years, it's been more than several months you've been waiting, we are asking you to call so that we can do the registration of you, so that we can do some of the pre-work that Dr. Duke would speak about. And then from September 1 or so is when we would actually jump into starting the actual surgeries. So for now, we are just saying, for those of you, all of you who've been calling my number, all of you, 6 o'clock calls, I've been answering them. This is an opportunity for you to now get yourself registered so that you can be on that list to get your cataract surgery done.
All right, just tell us, how do persons get registered? Would there be a hotline contact? Can they contact via the social media pages? Tell us, how do persons get registered?
So we have the numbers here. I just want to make sure I don't give the incorrect information. You could call 660-4392 extension 2239 or extension 2240. So let me say that again. 660-4392 extension 2239 and 2240, and you'll have someone there just collect basic information from you. What we will then do is look at that information to line it up with the list that we know we are producing from the Tobago Regional Health Authority. Make sure everybody is on the list, and then we go from there, because we know that there may be people who've been on the list for so long, their numbers may have changed, their address may have changed, so when we are trying to contact them, we may not be able to if we use the information we had from way back when. So we're allowing them now to come in, to call that number, or to go to the portal, the TRHA portal. There'll be a link that says cataract backlog, and from there they can register. We'll go through the process, go through the background information with them, and then start the surgeries in about a month from now.
Excellent. Dr. Nathaniel Duke, as Medical Chief of Staff, I know you will take a critical role in leading this initiative. Tell us about the process by the time they've passed pre-screening, what is expected to be engaged, and some of the medical professionals that will certainly be a part of this initiative.
Okay, so the medical professionals are coming from various parts of the world, and these are highly trained ophthalmologists and vitreoretinal surgeons. So they are a highly skilled group of people, and you also having specific cataract operating theater nurses that are coming. They will be bringing all of the equipments necessary. So these equipments are going to touch down in Tobago, head to Roxborough, and be set up for everyone. The team will also interface with the team in Tobago, so there will be an exchange of that knowledge, especially at the level of the nursing. Because we do have a relatively young nursing staff at Roxborough, we would like them to get that level of experience. So that's part of the initiative. Because of the complexity of what we expect with the cataracts, a lot of these patients will have a lot of underlying comorbidities, diabetes, hypertension, etc. We intend to be able to streamline that out. And what I say by that, after you have been registered and you will be given a date to come in where you will have your screening, where the team will actually check your eyes, they will look at your vitals, they will look at your underlying medical issues, and from that point they will determine your suitability for cataract surgery or not. Some individuals will have a combination of cataract and glaucoma. So we have to look at those individuals separately, because you cannot do cataract surgery in someone who has glaucoma and do not do glaucoma surgery at the same time. It has to be done together. So when we classify the patients, we will then plan for their surgery. Those who have uncontrolled underlying chronic diseases, they will be seen by the medicine specialist immediately to start the controlling process. Now, on the day of surgery, after you have been verified that you are appropriate for surgery, you will be given specific instructions on what to do and when to return. On the day of surgery, so 24 hours before surgery, you will need to have your COVID test done. You must be COVID negative before you proceed to the surgical phase. On the day of surgery, when you come to Roxborough, you will be escorted up by our CSR, our customer service personnel, and then you will be brought to the first floor. We will have you lie down a little bit, relax yourself, your vitals will be taken, any form of anxiety, hopefully we can allay those anxiety, and then you will be taken to the operating room. It's a very simple process. It lasts about 25 minutes. Then you will go into recovery. The recovery is normally about 1 to 2 hours. Once everything goes well, and then you are subsequently discharged with instructions, medications given to you, your eye drops, etc. And your follow-up will be within 2 weeks. That's the process flow. Now, obviously, we are going to have a little bit of challenges with some individuals because of anxiety, etc. The last time we ran this, individuals were coming on the day for surgery with blood pressures 250, etc. So we had to cancel or treat at that point in time. But what we are going to do at Roxborough, since Roxborough is a new facility and we do have the bed space, we can have individuals actually lie on a bed and we can administer medical intervention in order not to fully cancel the list for that day. All right? So we are going to do everything we can medically not to cancel individual surgery. But this will depend on how the patients respond. Post-surgery and post-recovery, we will then subsequently call the family members to come and pick up their respective family, because you cannot drive yourself post-cataract surgery.
So I want you to tell us a little bit, Dr. G, because you mentioned a point in relation to persons will be able to come and then they will be screened to determine whether or not they are in need of cataract surgery. Does this therefore mean that this initiative is not only limited to those who have been on the list or in the backlog for a number of years, or other persons having, feeling that the challenge is existing and I want to utilize this opportunity? Can they also, register themselves to be considered in this process?
Yes, the answer is yes. Once you have a vision problem and you have been told or you think you have cataract, come, we will screen you, we will assess what is the visionary problem. If you do have cataract, you will be part of this.
All right, excellent. Dr. Faith, an initiative like this, give us an idea. It starts on September 1st. What kind of time period is it expected to run for? And most certainly, I don't think something like this comes free to the Tobago House of Assembly. What kind of investment and cost would this be, and would we be required to make for this kind of initiative to assist persons in need?
Certainly. So you're right. I wish it were free, but it is not. So let me talk about the timeline a little bit. So we're starting the project itself from Monday, where people can call in. We anticipate that the surgeries will take us close to the end of the year, so about 3 months or so. We will be using that time to do the surgeries. We anticipate that we will start with a list that has probably about 300 people or so on that list, and then roll on from there. The initial investment for this is a little over $2 million. That's the initial investment, but again, it goes back to the number of people that come into the process. Again, we really, even though there may be individuals who are who may not be a part of a clinic, or who may just think that they have cataracts, we really want to focus on those who've been in the system for some time and who have been waiting for some time. We really want to deal with those individuals, first and foremost, and the others we can fill in as we have the time and we have the space and we have the resources as we go along. The other thing that is important to note that I don't think we've mentioned before is the fact that the equipment that is coming in with these professionals, that equipment stays with us. that equipment stays with us at the end of this project. So that was another part of the contractual arrangement that we have with them, that whatever you bring in, as long as it's not a consumable that you've already used up, it will stay with us so that we will be able to continue using the equipment to do this kind of surgery as we go forward. So I think it is really one of those things where it is worth the investment. I mean, we are spending money on so many other things. Let's not go down in the political line about all of the other things we're spending money on, or we've spent money on. But I think that something like this, particularly since it has been breaking my heart when people call and they complain about how long they've had to wait for these surgeries. So this is an opportunity to get it done now, to get it done before the end of the year. If you're a new person who need it and we could fit you in, sure, that's great. But particularly for those who've been waiting for all of these years, please call the numbers, please go on the portal and ensure that you are a part of this project.
Excellent. Dr. Duke, just tell us very quickly in terms of, the medical definition, or I should say rather simply as you can, in terms of defining a cataract for the benefit of our viewers out there.
Right. So basically a cataract is an opacification on the lens of the eye.
He said simple.
You missed the simple part.
Right.
So is that like a blurred?
So it's actually a layer, a deposit of a material that actually blunts the lens. So vision is severely affected.
And why is it important to ensure that it is dealt with? Because I note again, my information tells me it's common as you get older. And in terms of persons going up in that higher age bracket, why is it so important to deal with early? And if not dealt with, what are the implications?
Well, loss of vision and increase in falls. Right. So with the loss of vision, you actually lose your independence. And with the increase in falls, you can actually have multiple broken bones, especially hips. So we see this all the time with in the elderly. The one thing I want to say is that this is a huge project.
Yes.
And the logistics behind this project, very complicated. There are lots of moving parts. So the team, I must give thumbs up to them, and I must thank the Division of Health, because you're talking about moving equipments across the world, moving technical people across the world, as well as the logistics with getting all of these pharmaceuticals to Tobago in a timely manner and coordinating everything on the ground. It's a massive logistical project that is taking place in Roxborough.
Excellent. As we wrap this morning's interview, just remind our viewers again the hotline, contact information, who is eligible, and the time frame within which to ensure that persons are registered to participate.
So certainly, starting from Monday morning, you can call the number 660-4392, extension 2239 or 2240. Again, 660-4392, extension 2239 or 2240. Or you can go to the TRHA website, which is trha.co.tt, and you'll see a link there that says cataract backlog or something to that effect. And you can click on that to get the information. And hopefully, again, if everything works as planned, we would be able to start those surgeries on the 1st of September. So when you're calling on Monday, when you're calling starting on Monday, that is just to get your information so that we can start going through the list, cross-referencing it to make sure it's, you're on the list from hospital, or if not, to see if we could fit you in and so forth, to make sure that you go through the initial screenings that Dr. Duke spoke about, because we need to make sure that everyone is okay to go into surgery before they get to the surgery point, and then and then we'll be doing the surgeries for the next 3 or so months to ensure that we get that backlog out of the way.
Excellent. Thank you very much there again, viewers on set with us this morning. Dr. 𝗧𝗢𝗕𝗔𝗚𝗢, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and Dr. Nathaniel Duke, Medical Chief of Staff of the TRHA, speaking to us here on this initiative. This is your opportunity. Make sure and connect with the hotline. For those of you particularly who have been in the system for an extended period, this is your opportunity by way of this initiative and the project to ensure that you're able to treat with the issue and the challenge in relation to a cataract right here in Tobago. All right, viewers, as we prepare to head on out to our break this morning, I can't miss the opportunity every